the optical center of a lens is not the center of the lens. So, where is it? And for that matter, what the hell is it? Right? Because if you tell somebody else that, he's gonna say, "Whoa, whoa, wait, bro, hold up, dude. Doesn't make any sense." Well, because why talk about the center of something when it's not at the center of anything, right? I mean, like the city center is like downtown, right? So doesn't make any sense. Okay, true, but tell you guys a secret. Nothing in optical design makes any sense anyway, but we can talk about it, right? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. The optical center, a technical term in optical design, means the following thing. It refers to a position in which if you take an off-axis field ray, which is an off-axis ray, a field ray is an off-axis ray. So anyway, take an off-axis ray, and if you point it towards the first nodal point, it will refract through the lenses and eventually cross the optical axis, and that's the optical center. Then it comes out and crosses the axis again, which is the second nodal point. All right. So the thing to notice is that this is not necessarily the chief ray. It's the nodal ray, the ray that points with the nodes. But if you put the aperture stop at the optical center, then this becomes a chief ray, because in this case, the entrance pupil will be the same location as the first nodal point, and the exit pupil will be at the same location as the second nodal point, which is interesting. Why? Because that makes the optical center a conjugate of these 2 points, which makes it the seventh cardinal point. Now, you might have heard of 6 cardinal points, right? Front and rear principal points, front and rear nodal points, and front and rear focal points. That's 6 cardinal points. Of the 6 cardinal points, 4 of them are conjugates, the nodal points and the principal points, right? But the optical center here represents the image of the first nodal point, and it is the object of the second nodal point. So that makes it a conjugate, which makes it the 7th cardinal point. And the person who pointed this out to me and to the rest of the world was Barry Johnson in this presentation in 2013 and in this paper in 2008. In 2013, this presentation, he cites Molyneux as being probably the first to use the term optical center, probably, right? Very likely. And then Johnson also talks about this optical center in Lens Design Fundamental second edition, which he expanded from the first edition, which was written by Kingslake. The second edition, by the way, won the Joe Goodman Book Writing Award in 2012. So it's a great, really good book. I wrote Modern Classical Optical System Design, and in these pages, I talk about the optical center as it is applied to depth sensing, distance determination. And by the way, this is free to read online if you look for the book's website. And lastly, in this paper by Wynne, this is very interesting. This paper was also brought to my attention by Johnson. In this paper, Wynne talks about, he doesn't refer to the optical center as the optical center. He talks about the node. What he says is if you put the aperture stop at the node, then some of the aberrations become invariant with conjugate shift, which is very interesting, right? Because most lens designers know that you cannot have a perfect optical system in more than one conjugate. But in this paper, and which is still true, it's still true. But in this paper, Wynne derives some equations and shows that if you put the aperture stop at the node or the optical center, then the astimatism can be made 0 and invariant over a range of conjugates, which is very interesting, right? So with that, hopefully this is also has been interesting to you. Thank you. Bye bye.